Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 2 Point Conversion Monday night edition, off football season edition of the 2 Point Conversion. Your co host, me, and the lovely gentleman next to me. What's up, Jay?
What's up, everybody?
With your LA hat on. I just noticed that. I don't know why. We are going to discuss, of course, the Ja Morant thingy and maybe the Bradley Bill trade, although I really don't know that much about basketball. And we're gonna have to talk about Stan Kroenke because I lost Jay's picture, but it's okay because that that
I'm
is
still
like
on.
ridiculous.
Give
Okay,
me a
as long
second.
as you're still on. Well, while he's doing that, let's do the underdog promo. So if you guys aren't on underdog yet, you need to get on underdog and you need to get on it now because now they're starting the best ball drafts. Not starting, but they have the best ball drafts. And if you use our promo code, which is capital G as in Gladys, capital F as in you know the word, and the number two, you can get up to $100 matching. And so that's at least four, if not eight, depending on how much money you're going to put in, best ball and for the big money. So if you win, it'd be kind of like, you didn't even have to play anything to do it. You didn't have to spend any money to win Underdog's best ball draft because we're matching that. So if you're so inclined, I think you should jump on, get your matching numbers, and get into the NFL. They also have, of course, PGA and NHL and um, what's the other one I'm missing? NHL, PGA, oh NBA and NBA. So yay Nuggets. So yeah, I know. I like what is it called? Train bandwagon person. So get on, get in there, do it now. So yeah, let's talk about the Nuggets briefly. Yay, Nuggets, Jokic, and the rest of the boys. The parade was Thursday, last Thursday. Oh my friggin'! Like I bartended that day, and it was I caught myself. I live maybe 15 minutes from where I have to go and from where the parade is, and people were lined up for that parade at 2 hours before the parade started. I, of course, was running late because I didn't realize that people were going to be that into seeing the Nuggets. It was ridiculous. It was really ridiculous. But so I'm running and I'm trying to get to the place, and I get stopped by two pit bulls who were so adorable that I had to play with two pit bulls on my way to work. But I was still the first one there, so it didn't really matter. They were so cute in their little Nugget jerseys. It was adorable. But
Usually, pit bulls and adorable don't really go together, but
they were so adorable. Um, it's Jamie.
hey, Jamie.
What up, Jamie? My favorite person in Cleveland, or my favorite Cleveland fan, because you're the only one I know in Cleveland. I'm not gonna lie. I used to know someone else in Cleveland, but he's not my favorite. You are, Jamie. Yeah, no, pit bulls. These pit bulls were adorable. They were like wanting to play with everyone who walked by him, and it was like a gazillion people. And then there was a little poodle that had a 15 jersey on, and his mom's like, "It's not Jokic, it's a throwback." Um,
Oh,
and I'm like,
Carmelo.
Carmelo, and I'm like, okay, I don't care. Still looks adorable. Little dogs dressed in Nugget jerseys is the most adorable thing I've ever seen. But yeah, the parade was ridiculous, but I loved it. I loved it. I loved both parades. Which brings me to, which brings me to Stan Kroenke. Seriously, like he owns the Rams,
Whatever he
the
touches turns to
Avalanche,
gold, huh?
and I just found out today as I was looking it up, he's married to the Walton Harris heiress. So by association, he owns the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, the Broncos, yeah.
Oh my friggin'! How is that even possible? How is that possible? Like every team that he's owned except for the soccer team has won their league in the last 2 years.
He spends,
He's oh wait, I lost no sound.
yeah, he spends money on players. He's not afraid to do that. He spends money on good coaching, and that's kind of a blueprint there. Where
Well,
if an owner wants to win, they have the capacity to do it. I mean, it's no secret. The Rams bought a championship. I'm
That's true.
okay with that. Um,
Oh, I forgot you're a big Rams fan. I totally forgot
yeah.
about that. Yeah.
So yeah, that's he's a good owner.
Wow. I mean, I think it's just incredible that, and someone said too that he's like that owner that doesn't, if it doesn't happen like 2 years, he's willing to wait around, like if he thinks the guy is good, because Malone's been coaching for what, 7 8 years, the
Yeah.
Nuggets. So I was really happy for him, although he was really lit, really lit. When they should have not let him talk during the parade, but it's okay.
He's one of those owners that allows teams to grow into their expectations instead of
Uh,
having unrealistic expectations up front. Even when he took over the Rams were awful, and he was willing to allow them, to take over, come in into their expectations without too much pressure up front. Then you start accumulating, the coaching staffs that you want. You start accumulating the players. Then it's time to go, and that's kind of what happened even with the Nuggets. They were always a good team. They were never a great team, although they had a great player in Jokic. They didn't have championship expectations, I would say, probably until the bubble. I think that that's the first time that the Nuggets started realistically believing that they could win a title. Outside of a long time ago, when they had Carmelo Anthony, when they ran into the Lakers in the Western Finals.
yeah, but so the thing is though, he's never acquired, I don't think, except maybe the Arsenal team. He's never acquired a team right out, like right, like he owned like a percentage of the Rams, right? And then when the lady who owned it, the major
We should
majority,
never mention her name,
okay,
Georgia.
okay, I won't. When she passed away, then he bought the Rams, and I think it's the same way with the Nuggets, or I think he
Yeah.
bought them out. So, I mean, I just think it's remarkable that this one person, plus he owns like what, Arsenal, both the Arsenal teams in London. He's just, it's, I don't know. To me, it's just, did did they get money too, right? When the team wins, like the owners get money too.
I think that he's either a really lucky guy, or or he just kind of creates a culture that is conducive to success. I mean, his track record is starting to speak for itself. So I
um,
mean, you
yeah,
have owners that never win anything because they're crap people, and they run crap organizations.
corrupt people. I'm pretty sure you're not talking about anyone in particular. Um, uh, um, I, uh, I just, I don't know. I guess I found out like about. I mean, I knew Cronky owned a bunch, and I knew he wanted to buy into. I think it was like the Broncos, and he couldn't because he had the Nuggets, and there's some kind of rule that you can't have two teams in the same geographical location or whatever. But now that his wife, the Walmart, has, he just, I I mean,
He's winning at life.
I know, right? Like I've never, it's never ever been one of my goals to be like a bazillionaire or to own, even to own a sports franchise. But you look at Cronky, and that's like life goals. I mean, not because he's a billionaire, but because he successfully let these teams win. It's more that he's a success at what he does. He's just very good or very lucky or probably a bit of both. I mean, you probably need a little bit of luck too. I mean,
He's a
but
smart owner, right? So he is the antithesis of, let's take Jerry Jones for example.
ugh,
Jerry Jones is a good owner for a different reason. He's a good owner because he's going to make sure that the Dallas Cowboys are always going to be profitable, America's team. Where Jerry Jones holds the Cowboys back is that he does not have the ability to just sit back and write checks. He wants to be the GM. He wants to be the coach. In Jerry Jones's mind, he's out there playing fantasy football and with the real life team out there. So he doesn't know how to get out of his own way. When you look at great owners, that's one of the things that you say, right? Robert Kraft, he gets out of the way. They hire the right people. He trusts the football people to make the football decisions, and then he does the business decisions. The same thing, with your Steelers, right? They hire the right people. They get out of the way.
right.
When you talk about the owners like the Raiders owners, or even Jerry Jones and these guys, they come into it with this is my team, I do what I want to do, and everybody else just shuts up, and that's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, you never hear anything about Cronky, like ever, about making decisions or once he owns, like there was never the main thing you ever heard about him was he wanted to expand his sports empire and he was unable to do it until like his wife bought the Broncos. But yeah, he's not that guy that's sitting in the box and wanting, the camera on him all the time, every time that they break away. He's not the guy that makes these stupid proclamations that Jones makes. He's, I admire that too. I admire the fact that he is willing to take a back seat, not necessarily take a back seat, but appear to take a back seat and allow things to go as they should. I guess that's what I like most about him. Because you're right, like yeah, you can tell the best franchises, those are the owners that have one now that I think about it, those are the owners that you don't hear that much about, that you don't. Although, who's the guy who owns the is it the Spurs? Who owns the Spurs?
Greg Popovich. No, kidding.
I love Greg Popovich.
I don't know who owns the
I will
Spurs.
not take any Popovich slander. Who am I thinking of? The one, the guy with the dark hair who's like on TV commercials. It's he owns one of the Texas teams. Does he own the Mavericks then? Oh, can't hear you. Mark Cuban.
Yeah, I was saying that was Cuban that owns the Mavs. Yeah.
Well, seeing, I mean, I don't know that. Like he's like a hybrid between those two for me.
Yeah, he's a bit of a hybrid where he well, what makes Cuban different for the Mavericks is that he's a fan of the team. He is the number one fan in the world for the Dallas Mavericks. So because he's that type of owner where he's like, man, he comes to every game. If Mark Cuban didn't own the Mavericks, he would have season tickets to floor seats at every game. So he's that kind of guy where, he's like, because he loves the team so much as a fan, he's going to do what they need to do in order to win. Jerry Jones just loves the money that the Cowboys bring in.
Jerry Jones
he's
loves
not.
Jerry Jones.
Yeah, he loves Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
The big star on his helmet, it might as well be a picture of Jerry Jones.
His face.
Yeah.
Smiling. Yeah, that's true. And I can see that because that's why I think, yeah, Cuban is, oh my God, I love Greg Popovich. I can't believe he just like threw his name out there. I love it.
And I would tend to agree with Jamie saying that the Steelers are a cheat code of one of the best organizations over the past 20 years.
Yeah.
And you can tell that because of how many coaches that they've had. I mean, just in general in my lifetime. I mean, I'm 42 years old and I can remember 3 coaches for the Steelers. Tomlin. Then before Tomlin, you had what was the guy, Sergeant Slaughter? You guys call him? Bill Cowher.
I've never heard him been called Sergeant.
Oh yeah, Bill. Oh yeah. Now that I said it, you won't be able to unsee it now.
I can't unsee it now.
Yeah, Bill Cowher. And then so it's. I mean, between those two guys, they've made up almost 30 years already.
Yeah.
So
they are the cheat code, but I mean, it's a good thing and it's not a great thing. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, I love Tomlin and I loved, now I'm going to have to call him Sergeant Slaughter. That sucks. Oh my God. He does look like Sergeant. Now, see, I can't get that out of my head. Now that's going to live rent free in my head the rest of the season for a whole football season. Thanks, Jay. Damn it. Yeah, and then Chuck Knox. I mean, I can only think of 3 coaches that the Steelers have had, and that's a good thing and it's a bad thing. I think I'm too. You get set in your ways, and good things tend not to happen. But we'll see what happens this year. All right.
Well, when you hire the right guys, you can allow for time for the culture to set in, because it does take time to build a culture and then to sustain that. And I think that the best organizations allow the people that they hire to do that job first off, you got to hire good people.
Right.
But they do that, and then they allow the process to work. Jerry Jones, ever since from the beginning of time, he's always wanted to be the most important cowboy. Where the other
Right.
owners, Kraft and the Steelers family, even the all of these great franchises that you think of, they want to kind of be in the behind the scenes. They want the team to shine, not necessarily them.
Here's my question though. Cronky bought the Rams their victory, right? Like that wasn't a process where he waited it out. He bought the Rams their victory. The antithesis can be said with the Nuggets. Like he waited it out until, and the Avalanche too, because the Avalanche went through a period where they weren't any good. So was it because of the stadium that he needed to justify the cost of that stadium is why he bought the Rams that?
I would say that was a big part of it. I mean, when you paid all of the money, and SoFi is beautiful, by the
I've
way.
heard
You pay
that.
all of that money for it. You definitely want to put a winning product out there. And I just remember even that first year, when the Rams were playing games in SoFi in an empty stadium, and you just felt like, man, like what is this going to be like when it's full? There.
Yeah, it is. Have you gone to a game there?
Yeah, I've been to a couple of games there.
And it's just the Taco. Remember when Taco from the show? um, Jimmy loves the league. It is a really good show. And it is like all it looks like on TV.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
even better. Like that they have that big pond in the middle. Like that thing is like the lake is like sensational. Um, it's a unique design because it's closed, but at the same time it's open air at the same time, and you kind of sitting like right on top of the field, and so far, so you're kind of like looking down on them. It's not like a bowl shape; it kind of like comes up like this.
It kind of reminds me of the Louvre.
Yeah,
And,
it's a
and
great stadium, beautiful.
yeah, well, good. I'm glad Cronky built a really great stadium, and he owns Ballerina here too. Good lord. Okay, let's stop talking about Cronky because it will never
All
end.
right, and is Nikola Jokic, is he not the most boring MVP since he's given Tim Duncan a run for his money? I mean,
I,
their idea of Nikola Jokic having a good time is that awkward scene where he's trying to push Jamal Murray into the pool, and they both go in there, and he's like, "See, I have fun too," and it's like, what is that?
you know what?
Somebody posted a meme saying that Nikola Jokic looks like the guy who was forced to go to his holiday party and is ready to go home. He's he's sitting there babysitting the one Bud Light for like 4 hours and just
he yeah, I his what did he say? Like it's not basketball's not his life. It's again it's something he's really good at and he enjoys that, but he loves like horses, like his horses that his family owns, and they do like harness racing. That's that's what like he was scared that if they had he wanted the parade to be earlier, like Wednesday or something, so he could make it home in time to see his horse races. And then
I mean, he makes his personality makes Tim Duncan look like Stephen A. Smith or something like that. Just
uh,
this
yeah,
goodness
he's just
gracious.
like the whole way. Like he said a joke one time and no one got it because he said it and people were like, and he's like, "That's a joke," and everyone's like, "Oh, how can
But
we
he didn't
tell?"
he didn't have that weird Kawhi Leonard laugh though when he did it.
What's Aaron? What's his name? Aaron. Who's the Aaron guy? That is the crowd favorite. That's the one that people love. Like I don't. He after they
Aaron
won.
Gordon.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, I mean,
he's
and
the man
shout
of the
out to
people.
Aaron Gordon. That guy really built a pretty solid career for himself from being known as Zach Levine's runner-up. There was another thing that I saw something. I think it was on one of the groups, and they were comparing Aaron Judge, the Yankees, Aaron Judge to Aaron Gordon, and now I can't unsee the semblance. And so I posted a comment, and I was like, Aaron Judge looks like the actor who would play Aaron Gordon in a movie about Zach Levine.
Aaron, Aaron Gordon, like after the game, went down in his basketball shorts, only in his basketball shorts, in the middle of the crowd, and just like walked down the street with people like touching him, and he was clearly, it was after their celebration because you could tell he was a little lit. And then during the parade, we had the parade on at the bar. Every time they showed him, it was just this loud eruption of people going, "Yeah, that's who we love," and I'm like, he wasn't even doing anything. Like he'd just be talking. So yeah, I mean, people love Jokic for what he did, but Aaron Gordon is the one that they're like, that's who we want to party with.
And that's what makes the Nuggets work. And that's
Yeah.
what makes them work because you got the unassuming superstar who's the best player in the game right now.
Hmm.
And you got Jamal Murray who thinks that he's the best player on the floor, but knows when to back up. And then you got Aaron Gordon who's just fun. Yeah.
Yeah, he is just fun. That's true. And he's good though, but he's really good. I mean, he saved game 5 for them. He's really
He
good.
knows his role.
Yeah, I hopefully they don't like, become overly confident next year and just blow it all up, but we'll see.
I don't see that happening with Mike Malone being the coach. I mean, even the way that he called them out. What was the game that they lost? Was it game 3? Where he called him out and he was like, that was like the worst display of effort I've ever seen in a
Oh, I
championship
think it's game 2.
series.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, whichever one it was that they lost. And
Mhm.
I mean, they responded to it right away. When they were coming into game 5, he said, we're gonna play like we're the ones that are down, 3-1. Like we're fighting for our lives right here. So I just don't see that for the Nuggets. It was funny seeing that one scene where the Joker's actually like going off on his team.
Oh
And you're
yeah.
like, oh, this guy does have a little bit of spark to him.
Oh yeah. I remember seeing that on the bench. I was like, whoa, something bad had to have
Yeah.
happened because yeah, he doesn't dad bod the whole I was like, that's out of
And
if
we've
it
and we've talked about the Nuggets for 25 minutes, and we've like put our fans to sleep, and they're like, just the Nuggets are
Jamie's
just
Jamie's
they're
asleep
boring.
because Jamie's high. They're not boring. What? I okay, whatever. Maybe they are. They're not boring. Um, so what you want to talk about Jay Morant then?
And John
Ja,
Morant,
Ja.
I,
Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know I don't know if John Morant will happen to go into the YouTube universe and happen to stumble on the Going for Two networks and then happen to catch one of these shows. John Morant, dude,
Dude.
it's the problem that people have with you is that you do not have the ability to take accountability. Okay, everything is just it's so like doesn't matter. So he gets suspended for was it 20? It was 25 games.
25 games.
25 games. I think that's right. The number. I think that's the exact number that you called it. I thought it was going to be north of 50. But then they didn't really have a precedent for that, especially when you have Miles Bridges
Bridges.
beating on his wife in front of his kids. He
Wow.
only got 30 games. So it would be hard to justify him going over 50 games there. So maybe that was a little bit ambitious there. But just after that, so your camp comes out and they want us to believe that this is a fake gun. Okay. Like that's almost worse.
That is worse.
That is worse, right?
Yeah,
That's worse
that is
because
worse.
you have John Morant. You're out there perpetrating. You're acting like you're hard. You're acting like you're a gangster. You're acting like you're from this life, and you get caught. And now your crew is like, oh, it was a paper. I mean, it's a fake gun, a replica. What? Like, how pathetic does that make you even more now? Because you're trying to act hard, but I don't have the guts to flash a real gun. So hey, look, this is my fake
This is
gun
my
right
water
here.
pistol. This is
My water
water
pistol. It's total bullshit, and nobody buys it. You'd be better off John Moran just coming out and saying, "Look, I made a mistake again. I'm
Okay.
trying to figure some things out with myself here. I know I blew it, and just own it, and move on." To me, it feels like John Moran is more sorry that he of the consequences. He's more sorry that he got caught than he is of the things that he's doing and how much he's tarnishing his image, how much he's embarrassing the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. And you're costing yourself millions of dollars. You want to perpetrate millions and millions and millions of dollars on a dang on super soaker? I don't.
7.6 million is what he'll lose this year. That's in salary.
And that's just in salary.
That's just in salary for waving around a gun. My only question is, I mean, I understand the 25 games. I think that's totally justified. It doesn't allow him to play to be elected to like any games after the season, so he'll not make that money. But no one's said exactly what other, like he has to sit out 25 games, and then he has to, how did they put it? He has to meet
There are
some
some,
conditions.
yeah,
But no
there's
one's
some
ever said
unstated
what the
conditions.
what the conditions are that he has to meet.
Yeah,
I mean,
there are unstated conditions. I think, and the NBA players unit is coming after the NBA for that. By the way,
they should. I mean, you have to tell him what he has to do. I mean,
well, they're coming after him in general for the suspension. So the NBA executive director named Tamika Tamigalo,
mhm.
to me, she issued a statement regarding the job suspension and said that he's expressed his remorse and has accepted responsibility for his actions. And we support him unequivocally as he does whatever is necessary to represent himself, our players, and the league in the best possible light. Then she goes on to say, as to the discipline imposed, which keeps him off the court until December, requires some unstated conditions to be met before he can return, we believe is excessive and inappropriate for a number of reasons, including the fact that involved in a particular incident is not fair and consistent with past discipline in our league, and we will explore all options with Ja moving forward. An appeal of the suspension is under consideration.
So, in my opinion, that is like propaganda speak. I think that they are. I think that they have to come out and say this is bullshit, mainly because of the unstated conditions. But I think that the 25 game suspension is what they kind of expected. But you can't come out and say, especially if you're the NFLPA, yeah, we agree with what the NBA or NBAPA, sorry, we agree with what the NBA has done because you guys are on opposite sides, just just on principle alone, right? I don't think he's going to appeal it. I don't. Although again, I guess it depends on what these unstated conditions are that he has to do. Is it like he has to go through the way it sounded? Because the first time he did, he went to counseling, right? I read somewhere where Silver said, um, we will monitor the counseling if he goes through it again. So are the unstated conditions that he has to go through some sort of counseling again? And what kind of counseling do you have to go through for being a dumbass? I mean, there's no.
Yeah, he is definitely the Papa Doc of the NBA. We talked about this before.
What up, T?
His parents have a good marriage.
Hey, Garrison, how are you? So I don't think the NBPA is upset with the suspension. I think they're more upset with the unstated conditions that he has to, because if you don't know what the conditions are, how do you know that you completed them? Right?
Well, the NBAPA thinks the punishment is excessive. Even if we're not talking about the unstated conditions, they think it's excessive because there's not a precedent for it. So they're
Yeah,
coming along the realms of Ja Morant really hasn't broken any laws with this, so he's not doing anything illegal. But it's like what we talked about a couple of weeks ago. The NBA is going to nail him onto that umbrella, and all of the leagues can do this when they hit you with that conduct detrimental to the league. And that's what gives them greater authority to be able to levy a suspension like this, which is pretty significant. Like you said, he's going to miss out on so many bonuses and compensatory things because he's not going to be eligible for a lot of these awards now.
right.
So
Here's the thing about precedents, though. The precedent isn't set until it's set. Like they can't
correct.
say there's no precedent for it because the people that have like the guy that got suspended 30 games for the gun was on NBA property when he had it. So that's not
Yeah.
a precedent for John Morant. John Morant has set the precedent for being a dumbass, for having guns 2 times. And like, I mean, he didn't even
Two
wait like
times in like less than a month, like a
month,
month and a half.
exactly. He
Yeah.
didn't even like wait 6 months. You know, you're gonna do the same thing that you just got suspended for. So that John Morant is the precedent. You know what I mean? Like he is what everyone else has strived not to be now. I don't I honestly think that the statement that Tamika came out with is not propaganda, but is something that they had to say because they
It's
can't.
union talk.
Yeah, it's not like
It's
they. I how can you not? What did they expect him to get? Like what? He did the same thing twice, and he
right.
knew that they were filming him. It was a live stream. It wasn't like he's like, oh, whoops. I I mean, I just think that I don't know what counseling you go through for that. I don't know what counseling you go through for not trying not to be hard. You know what I mean? Little kid from the suburb who's like, oh yeah, look at me. I'm losing altogether. So altogether from the first suspension and the second suspension, he's lost more than $9 million. Like that, just for the money alone, you wouldn't be a dumbass. You know what I mean?
Count. Wait. Backtrack.
Okay.
Between the first two suspension and this suspension, he's lost $9 million.
He's losing 7.6 million on this one. On the last one, he lost 669,000, and he lost the 39 million bonus he would have gotten had he not been suspended and been or 3.9 million had he not been suspended and he got voted to the NBA All-Star team. So yes.
And all of this has happened since the middle of May.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are now, it's June. Happy Juneteenth, by the way.
Yeah, happy Juneteenth.
We are now a month and a half, almost 2 months removed from the very first incident, and you've already lost $9 million because you played too much Grand Theft Auto when you were a kid. It's ridiculous to me. John Morant makes me mad because I love the kid. I'm one of the, and the thing is, a lot of people are rooting for Ja, right? I think most people are like, okay, I want to see him recover from this. I want to see him put this behind him and go on to be the star, you know, and go on and be the star that he should go out to be. Yeah, he's trying not to be a paying gangster.
I mean, I think that mentality is so 80s, like, right? There's no one now that can lose $9 million wants to be a fake gangster or a gangster of any type because you're making $9 million. You're moving your family to the suburbs. You're getting out.
Even the gangsters that are real gangsters that start making that kind of money stop being gangsters.
Exactly. I don't. Oh my God, Jamie, you are so ridiculous. You're so ridiculous. I don't. I think that I honestly, like someone said, oh, maybe he's bipolar or maybe he has some sort of mental illness. I just think he's a dumbass. I don't think he's bipolar. I don't think he has mental illness, and maybe he does. But what he's done is not mental illness. Like, it's stupid. It's just stupid. You get in the car, have a gun by your head. First of all, if the thing didn't have a safety on it, you're fucking blowing your head off. Or the guy sitting next to you because you're waving a gun around like this. And he probably doesn't even know what a safety on a gun is. I am just like so over people making excuses for a kid that feels like losing $9 million is nothing. Plus the Powerade pulled his commercial. Nike's sticking by him, but they're not playing his commercials. You're losing like endorsements too. I couldn't even quantify how much money you're losing.
Yeah, and that's the slap in the face, Gladys. That's the slap in the face. It's the general I don't care attitude to where people are like, dude, you're like squandering. Literally, the NBA wanted to hand you the face of the league. They wanted to make you the man, okay? Between you and Jason Tatum and Zion Williamson, the three of them, those dudes can do no wrong. And now job, it's
Yeah,
it's done.
it's done. You're not going to be the face of the league. You're kind of the laughing stock of everyone who knows that you're trying to play hard, but you aren't. So, what are you going to do now, Ja? I mean, 7.6 million in salary alone. I it's just it is. It's just ridiculous. And I'm okay with the suspension. I just kind of want to know what the unstated conditions are because I think
Stated conditions is a that's a
yeah, that could be anything. Like literally anything that they want him to do before they'll let him back in.
and just for me, just last thing on Ja, just with besides the whole basketball thing, the whole image thing, dude, you have a daughter,
Mm,
okay? Like you're a father. Okay, when there comes a point in time where you have to be an adult and be a man and take care of your daughter the way your daughter deserves to be taken care of. Period.
yeah, he's
And that part is just that's hard for me. Just being a dad that values fatherhood and just knowing the importance of being active fathers, especially in the black community. Dude, get your act together before you lose everything.
mm, yeah. I yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just it angers me because I think he's so cavalier about things that he shouldn't be cavalier about. You know, you're just gonna wave this gun around. It's gonna go to Shotgun Willies and for whatever reason way out there and have a gun in Shotgun Willies. Which come on now,
Was
it's
his
not even
first mistake, huh?
yeah. Go to Shotgun Willies. Anyone who goes to Shotgun Willies, I'm sorry. It's
You're John Moran. You don't have to hang out at Shotgun Willies.
no, you don't. For the love of God. All right, let's talk about the trade that's coming down the pipe. Um,
Yeah, that was
Josh,
so
go
that
ahead.
was that was the buy sell hold for me. Buy sell hold. I guess I'll just do it now. The Phoenix Suns will be the 2024 NBA champions.
Mm-mm. All right, they get this guy, so they have now what three players who are scorers. I don't think scoring was their problem, was it? Wasn't it defense? Wasn't it stopping other people from scoring was their problem? They still don't got that, and now, from what I understand, they still don't have depth, and they don't have a way to get depth now. So
Well,
no.
they do have a way to get. So for me, I'm gonna hold that. I'm not gonna sell it right away. I'm not gonna buy it either. I'm gonna hold it. It's contingent on a couple of things. So you take Bradley Beal, who's a phenomenal player. We can argue if he's still the same player he was a couple of years ago, before injuries started to kind of mount up on him. But so you add him to Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, who the problem with the Suns is that they simply just didn't have a lot of time to gel together, and they traded away their depth. Um, if the Suns can find a way to get pieces that can sustain the starting lineup for DeAndre Ayton, then I'm going to buy that. I think that they have to move Aiden. I don't think that they can come into the season thinking that they can win a championship with Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Aiden. And Aiden has a massive, massive contract. I think he's owed 33 million next year.
Whew.
So I'm one of those things that where you can get like kind of like a more of a sum of parts if you can find a bunch of players that you can trade Aiton for and just get lesser, you know, players who work better. Because when you got Kevin Durant and Devin Booker already, you don't need a ton of things. You need a bunch of players that can support those guys, and then you get into Bradley Beal, who they fleeced the Washington Wizards. And then I read something today about there's some kind of collusion thing that they were looking into where Bradley Beal's agent is the son of the Phoenix Suns CEO.
I didn't see that. That would be awesome though.
Yeah, they fleeced the Wizards. So I do like the trade. I think that Bradley Beal is a good player. I think a good change of scenery is here. But you're right. Offense wasn't their problem. It was defense and depth, and the depth is what really started to show up. And we talked about this how the later you get into the playoffs, right? That's when those legs start getting heavy. Well, when you have a jump shot shooting team, which is the Suns, the first thing that make your shots start to miss is when you have no legs. Um, so they're gonna have to figure out a way if they can get depth, and the way that they get depth is by trading Aiton. Then I think that they got a chance. And in the second contingency, this may sound weird, but they need the Wizards to go ahead and buy out Chris Paul, and then the Suns take Chris Paul back on the veterans exception on the minimum.
I don't.
Then
Doesn't Chris Paul think he has a beef with Isaiah Thomas? He thinks that that's the reason he got traded. So if Isaiah is still there, I don't think Chris Paul goes back.
we'll see.
Garrison, you're cool all the time, my
All the
friend.
time, G.
All the time. I don't. I, do they want Chris Paul back? I don't think they want Chris.
I don't think that they did not want Chris Paul. They just weren't going to pay that salary for what he brings to the table at this point in time. Because Chris Paul is a I don't know. There's a couple of schools of thought when it comes to Chris Paul. One school of thought for the Suns is that he didn't fit. Right? They want to actually get up and down, but Chris Paul doesn't do that. Chris
Right.
Paul is one of the slowest paced point guards in the league. He has been for several years. The other school of thought is that's exactly what the Suns need. The Suns need, Chris Paul to slow down the tempo because they have no depth. When you have no depth, you got to slow down the tempo. They're going to be efficient anyway. Offensively, they can beat almost everybody except the Denver Nuggets in a half court game. So why wouldn't you want to slow down the tempo a little bit there? So I don't know, man. I don't. I'm gonna hold it though. I'm gonna hold it. I do think that it was a surprising trade. I don't know if it really. Um, I don't know if it's really going to move the needle for me
Yeah.
because I already thought that they were a second level contending team anyway. But you get a situation where who do you stop right now if you have Devin Booker who goes cold, which happened in a Denver Nuggets series.
Hmm.
Well, now you have a Bradley Bill. So there comes a certain point in time where you just don't have enough people where you can throw at extreme elite players like that.
And I've heard what Gia's saying. I've heard that um, Chris Paul will go to the Wizards, either get a buyout or and then go for the veteran minimum to the Clippers or one of the LA teams.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
talking about the Lakers heavy. Chris Paul coming to the Lakers heavy, which I don't hate it. I don't hate it for the Lakers because when you look at so the Lakers have a situation, right?
Mhm.
I wasn't going to talk about the Lakers, but if anytime I get a chance to, I am going to. The Lakers have a problem because they have a couple of players who have outplayed their contracts and outplayed their worth right now to the Lakers. Dennis Schroeder has outplayed his contract for the Lakers. They're not going to be able to give him what he asks, what he wants, and what he's going to command out in the open market. But he was really good, backup, really good point guard for the Lakers. They got to pay Austin Reeves. That's mission number one. Austin Reeves is going to cost the Lakers a lot of money, and so is Rui Hachimura. So you get to a point where once you sign both of those players, they're probably not going to be able to keep. They're not going to be able to keep Dennis Schroeder. And so that's where you get a player like Chris Paul who can fit in really well with the Lakers. Give them a solid point guard. He doesn't have to be, the best guy on the floor. Just a floor general, and see where it goes. Durant has to be the high school cheerleader that hooked up with the whole varsity team and was happy to win prom queen because he finally worked her way up for prom king. And the guy had three super teams. Yeah,
Uh,
and he's joining super teams. Like it's
yeah.
it's not just like they're bringing it to him. Like he's joining them.
I so are we calling the Suns a super team now?
I would call them a super team. That doesn't mean that it's going to work. That don't mean that they're going to win a championship. But I would definitely call the Suns a super team.
Oh, Jamie, you make my sides hurt. You make all my girl parts hurt. Um,
The Suns have four. They have four All-Stars in their starting lineup. That
Yeah,
is a
but
super team.
when I think of a super team, I think of a team that at least I think is going to win a championship.
Well,
I
they're
mean,
going to
if
win a lot of games. They're gonna win about 60 games
well, when you
next
play
year.
162 games, you should win like
The
60 or
problem the
so.
problem the Suns have is a problem that everybody in the league has right now is that nobody has an answer for Nikola Jokic. Nobody. Okay? And that's going to be a problem for everybody else.
Um, yeah, I mean, the super team era is over. I kind of, I kind
I'm
of,
glad to see that if that's I want to believe that that's true. The super team era because the reason why the super team eras failed is because exactly what we saw with the Phoenix Suns. You put all of your money, all of your eggs into three players. They're taking up all of the money, and now you have no depth. And so you can't go to the bench. Once you go to the bench, you have an extreme drop off. The Suns plus minus when they went to the bench was like one of the lowest in the league after the
mhm.
trade. So there's a lot to that, and so you are right. You're talking about teams like the Milwaukee Bucks. Um, they've built around Giannis, a legitimate MVP caliber player. They got a good second tier level All Stars, and Chris Middleton, and then they got a bunch of role players that fit well within that unit of supporting Giannis and Middleton. That's the key to it. The same thing with the Nuggets. You got Nikola Jokic, you got Jamal Murray. Okay, then they have Aaron Gordon, who's a great role player for them. You have Kentavious Caldwell Pope, who he's an active wing. He plays in the passing lanes a lot. They have the Michael Porter, good young player. So there's a little bit of luck on the side of the Nuggets too, where they did get some good draft picks when they were not that great, and now they're starting to develop and they're growing.
Well, under that theory, shouldn't the Heat have been better because they are mostly role players, aren't they? I mean, except for Butler,
Well,
who
the Heat were an 8 seed that made the finals,
right,
so and it's kind of hard to say they should not have been better. And remember that they did this without Tyler Hero, who's there. He was their leading scorer this year.
right, okay. But I mean, legitimately, who's during the season? Who was their star player? Tyler Hero, not Jimmy Butler, right?
Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's their star. Tyler Hero was their best offensive player, and Butler would just go and put it on when he needed to.
Okay,
I
so
think that the Heat, with Bam Adebayo is a little bit too inconsistent right now. I think he needs to work on his consistency. I'm not worried about the Heat. I think that they're coached by the best coach in the league. I think that they're gritty, they're tough. I think that because of this run, this playoff run, they're going to be able to get some free agents in there to help that team out a little bit. And I don't see nobody in the East really scares me. The Heat have the Bucks number. They're not afraid to play them. Boston can't get out of their own way. We don't know what Boston looks like with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. That duo doesn't seem to work with me. It looks like Jaylen Brown is not okay with being the number two to Jason Tatum. And I think that that's one of the underlying issues. Plus, they're being held back by coaching. Um, the 76ers, they're always going to be that yeah, but team for me. Joel Embiid, yeah, but that's not your MVP. That's Nikola Jokic's MVP. The league got tired of giving it to him, and that's why you got it. So I'm not a fan of the 76ers. So you look at it, it's like, well, who are in the East that we can look at that we can automatically say are better than the Heat?
uh, okay, I understand that your problem with the Boston Celtics coach, which you expressed a lot. So, are you saying if they got a better coach, they would be a better team? That
I
you
am.
would
I am.
okay. I mean, I don't know. Who did 76ers get? Who's their coach now?
Didn't they take the guy from Toronto? I thought it was Nurse or Budenholzer. One of the either the Toronto coach or the Bucks coach went to. I can't remember which one. I think it was Bud. I think it was Coach Bud who went to the 76ers.
Okay, so, but you don't think it's coaching with the 76ers. You think it's team
I
makeup.
think it's Joel Embiid.
Okay, all right.
James Harden is and James Harden is hurting that team too. Yeah.
The two superstars
Yep.
that they have. Okay. Um, which brings us to the draft. So the draft is what, next week? This week? We know who the Spurs are going to take. The French kid. Who? Hot take: 76ers are way better. No one has milked the championship longer than Garnett, Pierce, and Tucker. I don't know that. Oh, I love Kevin Garnett. I don't know that I agree with that. But again, so we know that Denver built through the draft. Like that's how they became better. Wasn't Jokic like a 7-round pick or something? Like he wasn't the superstar that.
I don't know if he was that low. I don't think the NBA goes 7 rounds. I think they only have 3 rounds. I think about it. He was so they hit him with the classic Mel Kiper, review
Oh,
of players.
why
He's
did you have
he's
to bring his name up?
unathletic. He's unathletic. He's can't do this, can't do that. Too slow for this, too big, too slow, all that type of stuff. That's what they hit Joker with.
Well, I mean, he does look unathletic. Um, where's the kid from Alabama going?
Brandon Miller.
Yeah.
Brandon Miller they have him slated, I think, to Portland,
Okay.
number 3 overall.
Number 3.
Yeah, they like so a lot of the pundits like that Scoot kid from the Ignite.
Oh,
I like
okay.
Brandon Miller. I think that Brandon Miller is the second. I think Brandon Miller is the best player in this draft. I'm not too high on the kid from Australia. I just think that he's just going to get to the NBA and get pummeled.
The first round pick.
Yeah. What's his name? What is that kid's name? I can't even remember his name.
It's
Wimbenyan or something like that.
Wimbanyanya or something like that. Yeah. I thought he was French. Okay. I
France. What did I say? I said Australia. Yeah, he's from France.
Same thing. I mean, over there, over the pond. He's I've seen he's really slight. Like he's really like high school slight. When you look at him, you think high school kid. He
Yeah.
doesn't have much meat on him. But Brandon Miller isn't that big of a kid either.
He doesn't have to be though. Brandon Miller is going to be a 2 guard small forward in the league.
Okay, but I still think you're gonna need a little bit of I don't know. Oh, that's right.
I did. I did.
Sorry, Dan. Our bad. I don't know. I'm just happy that the young kid's going to be with the Spurs. That's all I care about because he's got like the best coach in Popovich to help him.
Who has a built a career out of coaching out foreign players, getting them into the NBA, and just really developing them into superstars. So I think that he is going to a great place. I just don't know how much longer Popovich wants to coach. Yeah, I think that he's starting to get up there. He's becoming more of the get off my lawn guy, like by the day. I think that he's just kind of getting annoyed with everything right now, and guy's just a grumpy old man now.
Well, I mean, he has reason to be grumpy. His team really sucked last year, and he weighs into politics a lot. Like he weighs into politics more than Steve Kerr does, and Kerr weighs into politics a lot. So
yeah,
I think
I'll push back a little. I'll say Gerson. Gerson says that he's built for the NBA. I'm going to say he's built for today's NBA. If that's what you're saying, where you have like these stretch bigs that can come out, pull the defense out, shoot. He can handle the ball. He can actually handle the ball for a big guy. Well, he's not a big guy; he's a tall guy. So I think that
Whoa,
he has a I think that he has a decent chance to be good.
he's 7'3"?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know he was that tall.
yeah, he's seven
Seven.
three.
Holy shit. That's a big boy.
Yeah,
The best prospect since LeBron James.
that part I'm not. They keep saying that I've seen him play, and I don't see that.
Wait,
When you saw LeBron James play when he was in high school, and you looked at that, you was like, yeah, yeah, that dude is just different. I don't see that with Victor.
yeah, but when LeBron James was in high school, he was filled out too, though, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Like
he was
he he
he
was like
played
a
wide
man
receiver.
among boys. Yeah, he was a
Yeah,
man
he
among
played
boys.
football.
Yeah, and this kid, 7'3", he's not. That's not filled out. 237, 7'3". That's slight. I mean, he did not look that big when I saw him.
Yeah, that's not 237 is not big for somebody who's 7'3",
7'3". That's
because LeBron James is what, 6'9", 250. That's kind of, and he's strong,
250. Yeah,
right?
it's like all muscle. It's yeah. That yeah. But I mean, I'm really amazed this kid is 7'3". I'm trying to like does are they just really big over in Europe when they're playing? Because he didn't look like you know what I mean. When you think 7'3", you think of someone who was going to outsize everybody else. When I saw him play, he didn't look like he was that much bigger than everyone else on the court. Maybe it's because he's so slight that I wasn't paying that much attention. But oh my god, Jamie, seriously, Jamie. But I mean, like
Keep
I
it G
said,
rated. Keep it G rated on the Going for Two network, Jamie.
I think that Popovich is like the best place for this kid. Like I don't think any other team. The international game has changed.
I think that people are seeing that though, G. I think that people are seeing how the international game has grown so much, and I think that you're even starting to see more teams. There was a point in time where teams were afraid to go overseas to get players because they didn't want to be wrong on the reach, right? For every player like Luca or Victor, you had the players that they went out there and that were total bust and flops, like Tony Kukoc, and the guy that the Detroit Pistons drafted like number one back in the day. But I do think that the respect for the international game is there now.
Um, you forgot Joker, but that's okay. When you were naming great international players, but
I
we'll let
did
that
forget
go.
the Joker. Forgive me.
Yeah,
The
we'll
most boring superstar ever.
let. But Pop is a boomer. Oh my God, G. I will not stand for pop slander on this show, G. I will not. I will not. Even though that's close to what
Even though it's
Jay
true.
said. No, I didn't say that. I said it's close to what you said, to get off my lawn type of guy. But I mean, but you got to admit he has like taken some international players and made them really good, and I think it'll be good for this kid to go to the Spurs.
It's a good spot.
Yeah,
I guess we'll find out.
it's a great spot for him. All right, so buy sell hold
You know,
because we're almost there. You already did yours. Buy sell hold. Venus Williams will make a run in Wimbledon.
ooh, I didn't even know Venus Williams was still a thing.
She just won her first round match at the tune up for Wimbledon.
No, I'm gonna sell that.
What?
I don't.
What?
I'm gonna sell that. They define a run.
Like make it at least to the third round.
Mm. This is hard because I want to root for Venus.
Yeah, everyone does.
I want to. I just can't. I just think there are just too many young great players now that Venus is just can't. She can't keep up with these kind of players. Her sister can't even do it anymore, and her sister's 10 times the athlete as she is.
All right. I'm Actually, I think she's going to make it to the third round, just on sheer will alone, unless that whatever she has catches up with her. The immune deficiency, if unless she gets it comes up again. Oh my, Jamie, I'm gonna stop putting your things up there because you are making my girl parts hurt. All right, you have another buy sell hold?
No, that was well. I mean, we were going to talk about the WNBA. I guess we can say is anybody going to beat the Aces?
Nope. I'm gonna say no.
No.
I'm gonna say no. No one's gonna beat the Aces ever.
Yeah, so the one game that they just lost to the Sun, that was kind of a fluke. They lost by
Yeah.
pretty sizable margin there. Um, but it took a career high 41 from Dewana Bronner, who's been in the league for a long time. And here's the thing with the Aces, though, they're dominating, and Candace Parker is a shell of herself right now.
Right?
I mean,
Yeah.
she's averaging career lows in everything. She's averaging career lows in minutes, in points per game, rebounds, and assists. The only thing where she's kind of on her career average is steals, where she's long and linky, so she can kind of get in the passing lanes. But I mean, she's like the fifth best player on the Aces, and they are just taking names and just serving everybody. So yeah,
Um,
I don't know about that one.
the Denver Nuggets mascot makes 2.5 times more than the highest paid player. I believe it. I believe it. Yeah.
So the WNBA. So here's what I've come around on the WNBA. People often say the WNBA has a viewership problem because they're not getting women to watch the game. I disagree. The WNBA has a viewership problem because they're not getting men to watch the game. The men are going to
Yeah.
be the ones who are going to either adopt that league or not. I do think that there's hope. I think that there's hope that the NBA, the WNBA is going to start to legitimize itself with men because you got some really outstanding college players, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Aaliyah Boston's, doing her thing. You got teams like the Aces who create a. I always say that in order to create interest, you need to create a villain. And right now, you have a villain in the Las Vegas Aces, where pretty much if you don't know the WNBA, the four players that you do know on the WNBA are on the Aces. And so I I've always kind of favored college basketball, women's college basketball more over the WNBA, but I have been watching them more because I'm one of those people that wants to root against the super team, and I don't like what the Aces did. Kelsey Plum,
Yeah.
Asia Wilson, Candace Parker. They have four number four former number one draft picks on their league. I mean, Jackie Young is like balling out of her mind. And it's just not right. They have the 2017, 2018, 2019 number one overall draft pick on their team.
I mean, someone's got to have them. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem with that. I have a problem with just the whole structure of the WNBA. That the players have to go overseas to play out of season just to make
To make money.
to make money. I just have a problem with that. I
To make competitive money, right? Even to make, and we're not even talking about to make money in terms of being a professional athlete, just to make competitive money in terms of getting a regular job,
right, which is sad. I
which
mean,
is sad. Yeah.
it's really sad, and the fact that um, that they have to take commercial flights. I think um, I think that it's just it's kind of. Have you ever thought to go to a WNBA game?
I've gone to WNBA games before.
Yeah, I haven't, but that's because there's not a WNBA team here in Denver to go to. I don't even go to NBA games, so I am not the person to ask because I think basketball takes way too long to get to the pinnacle. Just like baseball, it's too many games to play. But yeah, I it's just we needed more like Kobe. Like Kobe would go to the WNBA games and be seen at the
Yeah.
WNBA games to try to bring more. We need more. of that.
And you're starting to see that. You're starting to see the guys coming to the games more. Jason Tatum was at the Aces game, the one that just had in Vegas. Great game there. They're starting to make their presence there, but the NBA, the men have to watch the game.
Right.
And I think that you're going to get the men to watch the game when they become invested emotionally into some of the up and coming superstars. I think that the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese rivalry is big for the WNBA. If those two teams meet in the college championship game again, people are going to follow those two players the way they did. You know, I don't want to. That would be too great praise, but to say Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, it does have, to a lesser extent for the ladies, it would be something like that. They need a great rivalry, like that can really transcend the viewership for the WNBA. Um, until they do that, it's going to be tough.
Gee, I didn't work the day that they won. I worked the day of the parade. It was crazy. I had to institute the no dick rule. So if someone was a dick, I just didn't serve them, which happened quite often, actually. It like, 21, 22-year-old boys going to the parade, coming in, wanting shots, then leaving. So it was packed. It was packed. Um, yeah. Having a parade in Denver where weed and alcohol are both legal probably is not the best combination for a bunch of people when they get together. But yeah, they it was a little crazy. Got a couple phone numbers from a couple 21-year-old boys, which why I don't even
Yeah.
know. Um, I
No, they did not get drafted, Gerson. They have like the WNBA has this weird drafting rule
Yeah,
where you have to be a certain age. I think it's 22
before you can
before the
draft.
season started for domestic players. So
Yeah,
international players can come in at 18.
which
So
is why so many international players went
right,
in the WNBA round, like before some of the domestic players this year, because
yeah.
they didn't have to be as old. No dick rule. If you're a dick, you don't get alcohol. That's the no dick rule. If you're like not nice, or if you annoy me, which doesn't really take much when I'm serving liquor, then it's the no dick rule. You don't get alcohol. Jamie, you probably would never get served in my bar. That's all I'm saying. I'm, but I still love you. I still love you.
He wears that. He wears that with a badge of honor.
I know he does, right? It's like that's what I was going for. Um, so my last buy sell hold, Draymond Green will be playing for another team next year.
I am going to buy that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the Warriors are tired of the Draymond Green antics. I think that he once contributed this to a championship pedigree. I think that he's more trouble than what he is worth now. And I do believe that Draymond Green is going to team up with his new best friend, LeBron James, and be a Laker next year.
Is that wishful thinking, or do you think
That
that's
is not
actually?
wishful thinking for me, but I believe that that's where that's kind of heading.
I think it's served all the alcohol. Um, wow, I didn't. Lakers never even occurred to me that they would want that headache.
He missed a Warriors game to watch LeBron break the record. I mean, this is a guy who kicked him in the nuts, like 5 years ago intentionally. And now they're like, smoking Cubans in Tulum together. It's just,
uh, yeah, that's. Do the Lakers have enough money for him? Would be my
Lakers
question.
have a lot of money.
Yeah.
The Lakers have a lot of money.
All right.
And they have flexible pieces with D'Angelo Russell. So the Lakers can sign and trade him, or they can just let him walk. He's off the books. So yeah, they have money.
All right. We'll see. Draymond Green, a Laker. I never even thought about that. All right, peeps. G, love you much. Jamie, love you much. Even though you are slightly a pervert, I don't care. I would serve you all the alcohol, Jamie. I would, just because you're entertaining and I like entertaining. Thank you guys for chiming in. Thank you for watching. Thursday we will be doing on the No Particular Order podcast Ooh, the OG, one of the OGs from the Armchair Show, Ryan will be on, and he will be on playing against the Front Yard Fantasy guys, Simon and Jay. And then, of course, the lovely and well dressed Shannon will be on. We are going to be mocking crime movies and Western movies.
Ooh,
I know. I'm so excited.
nice,
I'm
nice.
so excited. I might even make myself like the number one pick because I don't want anyone to take mine, but I'm not. I won't do that. But Jay, appreciate you. Always appreciate your wife for letting you come on. Even though she moved you to another room, I don't care. It still looks good. You
Yeah,
guys,
she moved me to another room tonight.
it's all
All
right.
good.
It's a great room. It looks like a wonderful room. You guys, next Monday it will be Kyle who will be doing his lovely talk show. And then, like I said, come see us Thursday at 7 p.m. Mock draft westerns and crime movies. I already have my top 5. Garrison, Jamie, Facebook person. Thank you guys for chiming in. We will see you in 2 weeks. Which will it be July? Are we not on till
Yeah.
July? Oh my goodness, it'll be July. And everyone, remember what that says: be a good person and draft wisely for your. I'm pretty sure that was about the Scott Fishbowl. Which reminds me that if you guys are in the Scott Fishbowl, go to the Discord for Going for Two. They're doing mocks all day, all night, slow mocks, fast mocks, whatever you want. You can find it there. The guy who won, I think, last year was in the Discord. So crime movies and Western movies are not this. I know they're not the same, but we're doing both because there's 6 of us, Jamie. We have to like get enough so that everyone can have a pick. So I'm doing mostly Westerns because I don't really watch crime movies. They are kind of the same too. There's a lot of crime in Westerns. Jamie. And we will see you in July. Good Lord. That's crazy. That's crazy. We will see you in July. Peace out, everyone. Jamie, I'll see you Thursday. G, I will see you soon. Jay, I'll see you Thursday.